and we would love to start with kind of your pulse on the market. What is your take given this fall we've had? What do you think is happening now, and what are you looking to happen next?
Yeah, so it has been a tricky market, and it's not just the crypto market, the stock market. Many markets out there have been struggling because as the Fed's been pulling back on monetary policy, they've been sucking liquidity out of the system, right? So you have less money in people's pockets, in people's accounts. Higher interest rates mean people can borrow less to invest. And ultimately, that creates a scenario where asset prices are going to decline. The Fed kind of, choreographed this in late 2021. They said they were going to do it. I think a lot of investors kind of didn't believe them because in the past they've always been soft with the markets. In other words, they didn't worry about inflation because there wasn't inflation. Now there's massive inflation and they have to actually be hard with the markets, kind of that strict parent at this point in time. So I think at this stage of the game, you have to continue to be very, very careful. The Fed is certainly not done doing what they're doing. The question is, at what point do the markets factor in a worst case scenario with the Fed? Meaning that at some point the market will say, okay, they may raise 10 times or 12 times, and then that'll be kind of the maximum. And the Fed may come out later on and say, hey, we're only going to do 8 times or something like that. And that's where you get a bottom in the markets. But unfortunately, we're just kind of at the beginning of this cycle, it seems. And unfortunately, the beginning of the cycle has already seen a massive decline in crypto prices, stock markets, and so forth. So I would just suggest in terms of the overall market view, continue to be very conservative. There's nothing wrong with being in cash, especially the dollar's been relatively strong, even though everyone's worried about inflation. And again, wait for the opportunities. Wait till you really see a bottom forming, then start to deploy more capital.
I love that. Now, with the bottom forming, what kind of things are you looking at in Bitcoin right now? Are you on the sidelines? Are you looking to enter position? Now, a lot of folks who are trading less than 5 years, this might be their first ever bear market. What would be your words of wisdom to somebody who's dealing with these tumultuous times for the first time, seeing their account whittled away for the first time, dealing with that stress and agony? Because as you know, Gareth, as a trader of many years, when you make a bad trade, your beginner mindset is like, let me make it all up on this next trade. What would you say to folks right now who have lost a whole bunch of money? What should they be doing with their portfolio, if any is left?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing I'd say is welcome to the club, meaning that it's not fun, but each and every one of us as a starting investor, we go through this, right? So we go through initially starting to invest, thinking it's the easiest thing in a bull market, making lots of money, being like, oh, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? I'd be a zillionaire by now. And then the market goes into a bear market and we get punished. So, I mean, it's not a great club to be in, but I think every investor has been through it in their early years. And the hope is that you learn from it, right? We all have to learn from it. For me, I've been through it multiple times, 1999, 2000, 2007 through 2009. And then there were mini bear markets along the way. And so I've been burned enough times where I kind of saw the signs, the writing on the wall, when there was insane euphoria. Everyone just thought it was the easiest thing in the world. You had GameStop, AMC, crypto prices going insane. And I started to pull back and I said, all right, listen, I got to be more careful here because I remember touching that hot stove and how much it burned me in terms of my monetary wealth multiple times. So I think that's the key, is just to say, okay, it will come back. It may take a while, but ultimately I do think it comes back, and you just have to be protective. Don't try to make it up in one trade. The market is never nice to us, those of us that try to do that, right? So we have a scenario where like you said, Steve, is people want to make it up so quickly. And the essence of it is bear markets will punish those people and you'll end up even down more in your accounts. So be patient. Always remember the markets will go lower than any of us think, just like they go higher than any of us think. I mean, if you look at the charts on GameStop or AMC, I mean, who would have thought those stocks would have gone, GameStop going to $300, $400 a share from $20 or $15. I certainly never thought that. And so on this downside, stocks and crypto prices will go a lot lower than any of us think. I know when I started calling out 20,000 back when we were at 65, people thought I was nuts. Then it got to 50, then 40, and now 30, and even sub 30. It's just the nature of bear markets to take things down and whittle away the average investor. The way you know it's a bottom is when everyone else doesn't believe there is a bottom left. So anytime you hear people saying, oh, that maybe this is the bottom, maybe I should start buying, it's probably not the bottom yet.